Absolute fries, man. Fries. I was watching the game at work for a little bit and it was just boring, so I turned it off. I mean, one goal aside from pins, you couldn't even generate an open play goal. So first off, I want to shout out, Kamavinga as a Madrid fan that, you know, thank you for that red card in the Bayern Munich game and saving us from that humiliation that we would face against PSG. So I know that you were thinking ahead. Us Madrid fans were pretty mad at the moment, but in hindsight, we're super appreciative of that. So appreciate you on that one. And then I also just wanted to give a quick round of applause for Arsenal and Atletico. You guys had great seasons. Made it further than Madrid in the Champions League. I mean, semifinals. Atletico, you're not going to win any trophies this year. Arsenal, you're not either. You're going to bottle the league as you always do. But, hey, you made it to the semifinals, and one of you guys is going to make it to the final, the Champions League final. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. Either way, whoever wins, you guys are going to get smoked by PSG or Bayern. That's why I'm just trying to give you guys your credit now. But I was trying to watch it a little bit at work today. Turned it off for two reasons. Super boring. And as I was sitting there after watching the absolute cinema game yesterday, I was thinking to myself, I had flashbacks from 5-0 of last year's Champions League final. And all I thought to myself was, I was like, damn, like the Bayern Munich and PSG game really is the final. And whatever team goes through, they're going to kill Arsenal or Atletico. And the Champions League final is going to be a blowout again. So I was, sitting there, and that was part of the reasons I turned it off, because I didn't want to have flashbacks of another boring Champions League final. Thank God for the semifinals between, Bayern and PSG, and, God help Arsenal or Atletico. Like, they're going to need everything they can get to not only have a better second leg, but have any chance in the final. So, no, but shout out Kamavinga. We knew Madrid wasn't going to win the Champions League this season anyway, so if we had just got pushed to the semifinals, we were going to lose anyways. So to save that humiliation is actually big. But yeah, I think that Arsenal, it's the standings in the Champions League doesn't really mean anything. Arsenal finished at the top. They went undefeated. They even beat Bayern, in the group stages. But you also had Liverpool and Tottenham in the top five. And Liverpool is, at this point in the season, a mid-table club in the Prem. And Tottenham are going to get relegated. So they both finished in the top five of the Champions League. But that doesn't mean anything. So, Arsenal went from potentially winning 4 trophies to winning. I'm guessing they still are technically in the title race for the Prem, but they're going to choke like they always do. They're kind of like the American version of the New York Mets. Not this year, but in a lot of past seasons, they are always leading the NL East. And then they choke right at the end of the season, and a different team from the NL East always wins. And whenever I'm watching, the Prem, and I'm watching Arsenal just absolutely bottle it, I always think to myself of that. So, from day one, because even with the center back partnership that Arsenal has with, Saliba and Gabriel, I don't find high quality. They don't have any quality in the attacking, and very, average quality apart from Declan Rice in the midfield. Eze has had glimpses this season, but really stat padded against Tottenham. And Gyökeres is a ginormous flop, which I knew that he was going to be. How he was acting after he had finished top 10 in the Ballon d'Or from Sporting, and how he was acting with the demands that he was expecting, and like he broke up with his girlfriend to prioritize the move. He demanded for it. I think he kind of bailed on Sporting a little bit, but I knew he was going to flop with not only the amount of money that he cost, but just you always kind of get that feeling from when a player's acting like this, thinking that they're better than they are. They typically tend to flop. So even when Arsenal was at the top of the Prem, like a reasonably amount clear, and finished at the top of the group stages in the Champions League, I still, if I was to bet, I would still put my money against Arsenal. And I always check kind of like the odds and stuff before games. I don't bet, but the odds to have to make a bet on Sporting when they played each other was quite tempting to me. And I'm glad I didn't, and I wouldn't have cashed that bet. But in the fashion that Arsenal won, I think it still goes to show that they aren't a side primed to win the Champions League. And I don't know how much longer they go with Arteta. I mean, I forget how many years he's been there now, but I think it's been at least 6. He spent more weeks at the top of the Premier League than City, and City has 4 titles in the last 5 years or 6 years, and Arsenal have 0. And you set up, very strong defensively with that center back partnership, and that David Raya, with how good he's been, then you finish the top of the group and everyone starts hyping you up again. And Arsenal fans are the worst, especially when they say like Bukayo Saka is still world class, or Declan Rice, if Arsenal managed to win the Champions League, that he should be podium for the Ballon d'Or, and that he should win it if England go far in the World Cup. But I was never high on Arsenal this season. I think us as neutrals should really relish in the fact that we get to watch PSG and Bayern play again, because in every sport you don't get 2 legs of the final, and this is the semifinal, but everyone knows, even the players and staff from Atletico and Arsenal know that the Bayern Munich PSG game is the final, and whoever actually advances is going to win the Champions League. And as a Madrid fan, I don't really want to hear much about how Vinny was the best player in the world before Mbappe came, and Madrid were the best team in the world before Mbappe came. And then Mbappe leaves PSG. Vinny's form falls off tremendously. So does Madrid. And then Dembele becomes the best player in the world, and PSG become the best team in the world. And to me, I think PSG are going to go through. They have a 1-goal lead going back to Munich for the second leg, and the Allianz is not an easy place to play, but I think that the quality is just too good that you're not going to be able to, win by 2 goals if you want to win in regular time, or at least 1-1 to get to extra time. So I think PSG are going to go back-to-back, which is really frightening for that Madrid 3-peat record they have. And I don't see how PSG slow down. So I got PSG beating Bayern. I think I got Arsenal beating Atletico, and then I got PSG killing Arsenal in the Champions League final, kind of how they did Inter last year. So I really just came on to make this video about how Fry's quality Arsenal and Atletico are. And Barca fans should be thankful that they aren't playing Arsenal, because they'd probably beat Arsenal, but they'd also get their shit rocked in the Champions League final to Bayern or to PSG. And they lost to PSG earlier this year. And I get that, Barca had some injuries, but PSG's form then, just like last season, was not how it is in the later half of the season. So as a Madrid fan, I'm thankful that we're not in this situation. Barca fans should be too. They want to say that Atletico stole the game from them, but in hindsight, you guys are getting smoked in the final two. So, yeah, Arsenal, PSG final. PSG go back-to-back. They kill it. And if you're a Madrid fan or you just like football, just started this channel. I'm going to be posting all the time. I'm going to get into other stuff as well. But if you like football and you're seeing this video, I'd appreciate a subscribe, a like, a comment, all of that. And then eventually I'll be getting to more into stuff like, TV shows, movies, Legos, stuff like that. So if you're seeing this, I would really appreciate a thumbs up and a like, and then let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments.